to Wednesday of Cooking with the Cooks. Today we're going to prepare you for your main course, the main event of your date night on Friday. Now it's going to take a bit of effort, but I'm going to go through it slowly and show you what we've got. So first of all, we've got some nice fillet steak. I've got a bit of prosciutto there that you could use Serrano ham or Parma ham. You don't have to use that, but it makes it nice and neat. The thing about this dish is it will look stunning and it will taste fantastic, but it will take a bit of effort. So we've got our steak. We're going to make a sauce in a minute. Our vegetables, I've just cubed some potatoes. I've only got 6 of those in there. There's only for 2. You're making it for your, if you're on your own and you've got a webcam with your loved one, maybe you could both make the dish. If you want it for more, just double it. So three of those cubed potatoes each. I'm going to make this quite a delicate dish because it's part of a 3-course meal. If I was doing it just as a main meal in itself without starter and pud, I'd probably put more in it. Carrots, I've cut them down quite small. We're going to do something really special with these carrots, so they're the tastiest carrots. I'll let you into mine and Tom Kerridge's secret about Christmas carrots. Broccoli, same again, nice and delicate. And then we're going to make a sauce and we're going to serve it with a blue cheese bonbon. Now you don't have to do this, you could use a different cheese if you don't like blue cheese, but we're going to make a little tiny bonbon so when you cut into it, that cheese oozes out into your red wine sauce, nice and salty with that steak. It will taste fantastic. First things first, salt and pepper. I'll just salt for now. I'm going to get these potatoes just parboiling for about 10 minutes. And then I've got a little dish with some oil in the oven, and we'll get that done. Right, we're going to start with the sauce then. So I'm going to clear a bit out of the way. We're going to deal with those later. So you need to get your sauce on nice and early. Now, a base of a sauce. Now, there's loads of different ways of making sauces, so I'm just going to show you how I make mine. So I'm going to start off with half a red onion. If it was for 4 people, I would obviously use a full one, but since we're just doing it for 2, and I'm just going to sort of chop this up and pop it in. I'm then going to put in a couple of cloves of garlic, and then I'm going to get it on the stove. So get that in there. A couple, if it's big clove, just put 1 in if it's just for 2 people. This just gives it a nice base flavour and some depth when it comes to it. So a couple of cloves of garlic. There's another one. Just finely chopped up. Right. And put a bit of oil in there and get that on as well. Just to sweat those onions down, start infusing that garlic a bit before we do anything else. So we'll get that on as well. Now, Christmas carrots. Now these carrots will taste like no carrots you've tasted before, and it's nothing to do with the carrots that you put in there. It's everything you do with how you cook them. So we're going to poach these carrots in a fantastic sort of liquid, but we start off with 75 grams of caster sugar. It sounds a lot, you won't be eating it all, it just gives it that nice flavour. We're also going in with star anise, 2 star anise, bob those in. We're then going to put in quite a bit of butter, probably about half a block. These are going to take about 40 minutes to cook. Pop that in, a decent pinch of salt, and about 200 ml of water. Now I'm going to put that on a high heat to start with until it's all melted, and then I'm going to turn it down. So let's get that on. Sauce, onions starting. So the reason I've got some Parma ham is, oops, sorry Sophie, I can't see. Sometimes when you get a steak, it's just a bit odd sized, and we're going to put some effort in today. So we're going to make this nice and round. Now what I like to do is take a piece of Parma ham, come in so, pop it round the outside, so we get a nice round steak, get it to the shape you want, and then with a cocktail stick, break it in half, pop it in to seal it up. So now, when we cook that, it's going to keep its shape. It's going to have Parma ham or Serrano ham or prosciutto around it, so it doesn't need any cooking in theory. So now we've got a nice round steak as opposed to a different shaped steak, and that's going to look really good on the plate. What else do I need to show you? Well, for now, I think we're okay. So we've got those on the stove. I'm waiting for those onions to sweat down a bit. We're going to come tidy up a bit. Always try and tidy as you go. Tidy up a bit, and when we come back, we're going to add the red wine to the sauce, and we're going to start to look at the blue cheese bonbons. See you in a second. Right, okay, we've had about 5 or 10 minutes. The onions and the garlic nicely sweated down. A nice hot pan. About half a bottle of red wine. Now, it's good to use a nice red wine if you can. Now, if you look at that level, so come here a sec. Now, what we're looking to do is get that back on the heat and reduce that by half, so there's half as much liquid in. What you're really doing with the sauce, especially like a red wine sauce, is evaporating all that water off, so you get a really intense sauce. Now, hopefully, when we come to finish this, there'll be very little sauce in that pan, but it will taste fantastic. So I'll get that back on the heat. Now, in the meantime, our carrots have the butter's melted, so I've turned that right down. We're just going to simmer those for 40-ish minutes. And our potatoes have been on for about 10 minutes. It's all right, so I'm going to take those off, fluff them up a bit around the edges, and I'm just going to make sure they're dry before I put them into the oil they're going to roast in. Now we're going to turn our attention to the bonbons. Now, you don't want these to be massive, so time to get your hands dirty. I have washed my hands before I started all this. Now you want to roll a ball, I don't know, about the same size, I don't know, as a ping pong ball, something like that. I mean, you can make them bigger if you want. The whole idea of this, you get a little cheesy hit. When you're having your steak, you cut into it. We're going to pane these, so we're going to fry them in breadcrumbs just before we serve. So you've got some nice gooey cheese with, so something like that. Now these I'm going to put back in the fridge so they're nice and cold just before we fry them. Now steak, our fillet steak, I'm going to leave out because you should always try and cook meat at room temperature if you can. So there we have them, a couple of similar sized ping pong ball sized stuff. Now the good thing about cooking for two is you can have a drink of the other bit of the wine whilst you're cooking your sauce. I'm going to pop that there. Just going to get the oil out of the oven. Now the oven's fan of 180. Now before I put them in there, just going to add a little bit of salt to them. Now I forgot to say, with the sauce at this point, you can put some herbs in. You can put some rosemary or thyme or anything you want really. I'm just going to bob those in there and make sure they're coated. So we've got 6 nice roasties to serve with this. Like I say, if you want more, crack on. I just know that this is part of a 3-course meal, so I don't want to overface anybody with the main course, especially since we've got chocolate fondant coming for pudding on Friday. So bob those back in. Come back in about 10 minutes, we're going to put the stock in the sauce. See you in a bit. Right, so we've had about 10 minutes since I last spoke to you. If you come over here, and have a look at that. So that's the red wine. It's reduced by about half. We're just going to put some beef stock in, about 200-300 mils, and then we're going to put that on a really high heat and reduce that right down. I've had a look at my roasts, I've turned them over, I've kept an eye on the carrots. When we come back, we're cooking the steak, we're putting the broccoli on, and we'll get to grips with those blue cheese bonbons. See you later. Okay. Hello and welcome back. We're going to cook our steaks now. So if anybody saw the perfect steak, how I like to cook them, a bit of olive oil over the top and the bottom, seasoned with salt and pepper. Hot pan on the stove, ready to go. Oh, just lost a bit of our prosciutto there, bear with me a sec. Back on. Mustn't forget to take those out, by the way, before you serve. So, salt, pepper, both sides. So as you can see now, they're exactly the same shape. Hot pan's waiting. Let's get those in. You don't have to come over, sir. Just get those sizzling away. Going to add some butter to that in a minute. Just going to show you a little trick now. My sauce is reducing nicely, but not reducing as quickly as I'd like it to. I was going to sieve it anyway before we serve it, but what I've got is a hot pan on the stove. I'm going to take it out of this pan and put it into the hot pan through a sieve. Now that just gets out all those onions, and so that's hit that pan, started sizzling away immediately. Probably a bit too much. Now this will reduce it down really, really quickly. We're going to get that back on the heat and then clear up the spits. On a really high heat, clear those up, throw those away. So, we're going to put some butter in the steak and baste it. Then we're going to take that off to rest. Next time you come, we'll be doing the bonbons and we'll be plating up, and then we're done. See you in a bit. Okay, welcome back. I've taken my steaks out because remember the secret to a good steak is let it rest. They should be cooked rare to medium rare, somewhere like that. Remember, I've used this method, so yeah, about medium rare I would have said for those. So they're perfect for me. Before I do anything else, my sauce is really, really reduced. I'm going to turn it down a bit and add a decent knob of butter. Now there's probably only about half a cupful of that sauce left. I'm going to whisk that butter in. That'll give it a nice glossy sheen. Right, we're nearly ready to plate up. I'm going to turn my attention, just about ready, to the bonbons. Now we're going to pan these as we've done before. So flour first. Oh, I'll put my broccoli on, by the way. And then into an egg mix, so just an egg beaten up. And then into some breadcrumbs. Now it's really important you get it all covered because you're putting cheese into hot fat basically. Now if you wanted to, you could go egg and breadcrumbs again. So I'll do it with this one, just show you. Just to make sure you've got a really good seal over that, because if not, in the hot fat it will just melt down. So there's one, here's the other. I think the oil's ready, I'll just turn it down a bit. So I've got some oil in the pan. These will literally take a minute and then just sort of ease them over in the hot fat and then a minute on the other side. You don't really want that cheese to be spilling out, you just want it to be nice and soft inside. So we'll get these double panade. And then, very carefully, also into the hot fat for about no more than 2 minutes. Come back in a sec and we'll be plating up. See you in a bit. Right, okay, we're ready to plate up. Come over here, Soph, let's show you what I did. So, I've cut the steak in half, so we've got a nice medium rare steak. Just going to place that there. We've got our bonbon has come out. I'm just going to do one for now. So, we're going to pop our carrots on. Oh, they are hot. And then a little bit. You can plate up in any way you want. I like to pile it all in the middle and hope for the best. And then those roast potatoes just around the outside there. So all that sauce from that half bottle of wine and all that stock has reduced down to that much, which is brilliant. So I'm going to pop that in there, serve it on the side. Come and have a look, Soph. So fillet steak with a blue cheese bonbon, Christmas carrots, cubed roast broccoli, and a lovely red wine sauce. We hope you enjoy. Come back on Friday. We're making oozy chocolate fondant and it's a lot easier than you think. So in the meantime, stay safe, stay indoors and keep cooking. See you soon. Bye.